All right, up next, Bob Greenough. Bob, thanks for being on, man.
Happy to be here. Thanks, sir.
So tell everybody your role, how long you've been at Telarus, and kind of the region that you support.
I can do that. So my role is the sales engineer handling the sales engineering duties for the southeast region of Telarus, and that is loosely described as the DC area down to the Florida Keys, over to Louisiana, and up to Tennessee. Been here just over 2 years now.
Awesome. Let's talk about, you've got some cool background, some diversity in background. So talk to us about leading up to Telarus, a couple of the places that you've been at, and kind of what those roles were.
Sure. So immediately before I came to Telarus, I was with Star Communications, and I was handling their strategic engineering. So any of the larger, more complex deals, those typically came across my desk. I think the biggest customer was about 14,000 locations nationwide. And there was also some complex stuff with government contractors, defense contractors, that keep them off the radar. But yeah, so before that, I was actually at Hoveround Corporation, and this is where I tell you that I'm a recovering security guy. So I handle security and compliance for them for the better part of 7 years. So those HIPAA conversations that everybody knows and loves to have, that was part of my daily life for those 7 years. And then right before that is where I got my start in the industry with Sarasota County government. So I had that public sector side as well. And this is where I date myself technically, but managing Novell, NetWare, eDirectory, group-wise administration, and then of course over to the Microsoft side as well. Everybody ended up, migrating. So Active Directory Exchange and SMS, I think it's called SCCM now. So, and that was going back 20 years now.
Love it. Good examples. So let's talk about a use case where a partner brought you into an opportunity. What did that opportunity look like, and then how did it kind of progress throughout, and how did it end up?
Oh, that's a good one. So I'd have to say there was an opportunity that was relatively recent where the request came to us that it was a UCaaS opportunity, hosted voice, and they had a requirement that sounded a little weird off the bat, but it was, everything's got to be encrypted. I mean, soup to nuts, the SIP signaling, the voice side of it, the call recordings, and even the reporting, they all wanted that data encrypted. Right away, I was thinking, man, this is something that we typically only see with, like military DoD type networks. So it was a healthcare opportunity that we found out they thought HIPAA was a driving force behind this. So once we started talking about it a little bit more, obviously, I told you about my HIPAA related background, but I was able to drill down into the use cases and explain to them that HIPAA, with regards to HIPAA, security, or I should say encryption, is considered addressable, not required, meaning they recommend it, but if you can't do it, then you have to show us that you're doing other things to protect that information. And as we drill down even further, I asked a very pointed question: are they touching sensitive patient data in any way, shape, or form? And the answer was no. It was mainly just a switchboard where they weren't even addressing patient concerns. So they weren't talking about diagnoses. They were talking about medication, symptoms, anything like that is considered EPHI, or electronic protected health information. So if they're not touching any of that, if they're not touching that or personally identifiable information, HIPAA doesn't even apply. So the good thing is, I guess the short answer is that we were able to, instead of being forced to hyper-focus on maybe one or two suppliers in our entire portfolio, once we removed that quote-unquote requirement, we were able to open it up to pretty much the entire book of suppliers that we have. So.
Awesome. Okay. Good example. I love it. That's all we've got. I appreciate you being on. Partners, if you haven't connected with Bob in the Southeast, you're missing out. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.